Have you ever noticed how we walk? Heads bowed, not in prayer, but to a glowing little rectangle. We live in an age that's perhaps not sad because we've forgotten to look at the sky, but because we've forgotten to look into each other's eyes. The lights on our streets are brighter than ever, yet they don't illuminate faces anymore, just the thin glass screens that keep us apart. We've never been so connected, and we've never been so alone. This is a story about that paradox. Welcome to Riverbend, a town that looks like it was plucked right out of a postcard. Maple trees line the streets, and the air smells like cinnamon and coffee. But if you look closer, you'll see something's off. On the benches in the town square, families sit side by side, each person lost in their own little digital universe. A father shows his son a video instead of tossing a ball. A couple scrolls in silence, their thumbs brushing past each other more often than their hands. And among them all sits Greg. He's 72, a retired engineer, and one of the last people in Riverbend who still looks up when he walks. Greg used to design bridges. He loved building connections, real physical links that held things together. After his wife passed away, he tried to adapt to this new world of screens and emojis. He sent messages, joined video calls, but every digital connection felt like a bridge that stopped halfway across a river. So he started a new ritual. Every morning he'd come to the town square with a cup of coffee and just watch. He became an observer of this strange new world. He noticed the rhythm of the modern walk. People didn't stride anymore. They drifted, pulled downward by the gravity of their screens. It reminded him of old paintings, of people bowing before an altar. The posture was the same, but the object of worship had changed. One day a little girl almost ran into him. She looked up, startled, for just a second. Greg smiled, but before he could speak she was gone, sucked back into her glowing world. He thought, we always feared the machines would rise up against us. We never imagined we'd be the ones to bow down first. A week later, he met Alice, a young woman who worked at the local cafe. She was different. She made eye contact. She laughed with her whole face. One morning she asked him, "Do you ever get lonely sitting here by yourself?" Greg chuckled. "Not really," he said. "I'm surrounded by people. They're just somewhere else." Alice gave him a sad smile, understanding completely. They talked for a while about books and old times, until her phone buzzed. She glanced down, her eyes flashing with that familiar blue light. "Sorry, I've got to take this," she said. By the time Greg finished his coffee, she still hadn't looked up. That night, Greg couldn't sleep. He opened his old slow laptop, searching for something he couldn't name. He watched videos of cities, of people walking and talking, but every clip, every ad, was designed to pull him deeper into the same endless scroll. He shut the laptop. In the darkness, his own reflection stared back from the black screen, a faint ghost asking which side of the glass was even real anymore. A few days later, sitting on his usual bench, Greg saw something that made him smile. A young boy, maybe 12, was sketching in a notebook. No phone, no earbuds, just a pencil and paper. The boy was drawing the people around him, all the bowed heads and glowing screens. When he finished, he showed the drawing to Greg. "They all look like they're praying," the boy said. Greg nodded slowly. "Maybe they are." "To what?" the boy asked. Greg thought for a moment. "To attention," he replied softly. Weeks turned into months. Autumn leaves covered the streets. Even weddings in Riverbend had changed. Guests watched the bride through their phone screens, so busy recording the moment that they forgot to actually feel it. Greg noticed the silence getting louder. Not an absence of noise, but an absence of presence. He wondered if, one day, looking someone in the eye would be considered an ancient art form. So he tried an experiment. He walked through the square trying to meet the gaze of strangers. Most didn't notice. A few looked up, startled, then quickly looked away as if he'd broken some unspoken rule. And then, one winter night, it happened. A massive power outage plunged the entire town into darkness. No signal, no Wi-Fi, no light. At first there was confusion, then a profound silence, and then, slowly, something amazing happened. Voices returned. People stepped out of their homes, blinking, dazed. Neighbors who hadn't spoken in months started talking in the dark. Someone lit a fire in a trash can and a small crowd gathered around it sharing stories. For the first time in years, the sky above Riverbend was truly visible, a vast black canvas filled with stars. And for the first time in years, people looked up. The next morning, the power came back on. Phones buzzed to life, screens lit up, and notifications exploded. Within minutes, the square emptied out again, the magic of the night before gone. Greg sat on his bench and watched. He realized the world hadn't really learned a lesson, but for one single night, it had remembered. He took out his notebook and wrote a single line. "We built tools to bring us closer, and forgot to stay close ourselves." Just then he saw the young boy from before, the one who sketched. This time he wasn't drawing. He was just looking at the sky, at the people, at life. And Greg smiled. Maybe one pair of eyes was enough to start again. When future historians look back on our time, they might call it the age of the great smartphone stoop, the era when humanity bowed not in reverence but out of habit, a time when our attention became the most valuable currency, and true silence became the ultimate luxury. But maybe, just maybe, one day we'll remember that connection isn't measured in bars of signal strength, but in the simple, profound warmth of a human gaze. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Have we lost something important? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that make us think. See you next time.